No, this is still working.
People always ask me, what's the difference between your painting and Andy Warhol's? $99.9 million. Now I saw Andy's first show in LA, the 30 Campbell soup cans, and I was told, why don't you buy one of these? They're only $300. But you'll have to remember at that time with pop art, everyone hated it. And I said, I wouldn't take one if you gave it to me. They're probably worth $100 million a piece now. It's hard to explain all of that, so I won't even try. But what I'll do, another thing that people ask me about is why I use the computer. The computer's wonderful. And I was probably one of the first artists to start using the computer. And I went from projecting an image on the canvas with a projector. Well, actually, I started off where you do squares, and then you make bigger squares on the canvas. Computer's great. I could say, oh, that would look better green than blue, and change it like that. And every other artist really appreciates the computer. The musicians out here, if they didn't have their computer and some of the technical things that they use, they would have to go back to a single guitar. Like I would have to go back to a brush. Or, I mean, I still use the brush, but I would have to draw everything, and it's a much longer thing. So anyway, I'm here. I love being here. It's, in fact, I've been thinking maybe we should live here a few months out of the year. So beautiful, you know. And so I'm open to any questions. I'll give it a shot. Anyone has a question?
Yes, I have one. I'm very spontaneous, but I would appreciate if you would tell me how you would draw without a computer, just out of your imagination. How would that look?
Well, I mean, there's many things that I've done without a computer. I mean, about half of the things out here were done without a computer. I was talented. I was really talented where I could draw anything I wanted to, really photographically. And that actually helped me be able to say, well, I don't need to draw myself. I can use the photographs. It's just, and I love using just the photographs of different people. Photographs of Marilyn, I mean, it's a wonderful collection of a person. You know, you can just kind of know her by seeing all the photographs of her. And I take ones that I like, and I'll do a painting from it. And I can draw anything I want to with a pencil. Does that answer?
Thank you very much.
I just want to know what was your inspiration? Who was like inspiration for you?
Artist.
Or maybe the artist, maybe something else.
Well, when I grew up, I didn't really want to be an artist. I just wanted to be a cowboy. And I'm sure there were a few cowboy artists that I kind of liked. But then a man that worked with my dad, he worked on the railroad, he died and left me 30 years of National Geographic. And the photographs in National Geographic, undersea, plants, people in Africa, all of these things really influenced me then. This was before they had color reproduction like they have now. An art book was all black and white, and you had what was called a tip-in. They printed a color photograph and glued it in on the page. So I know the influence that those had on me. But also another influence, a coloring book. When I was a little kid, I can remember, stay inside the line. So, a lot of influences.
Very good.
What did your parents think about all you were doing as you grew up?
What's the difference? Your parents.
Parents thinking about what you were doing.
My mother was an interior decorator in an area that didn't even know what interior decorating was. I mean, she did drapes and everything, and she was very, she said, do what you need to do, Jim, be an artist if you want to. My dad was different. He said, don't be stupid. Get a job on the railroad and get a nice retirement plan, and do not be an artist. Until Life magazine reproduced my Maryland. And then my dad said, I guess it's okay.
Good evening, we know that you are famous now, but imagine if you are beginning your career now. What is your first challenge for your new career?
I appreciate that because people ask me that a lot, and I haven't the slightest idea what to do. The time now is so different than it was when I was young. And like the man said in the movie, reproduced in Life magazine, that's when Life magazine was something special. It's not special anymore. And there's a million magazines and videos and artists and galleries and and I have to deal with this. I'll go look at what's being done now by the artist, and I'll say, well, that's neat, that's exciting, but would I want to hang that on my wall? I do paintings with a wall in mind, a living room, hanging on a wall. In fact, I was just telling Ted, the painting that I have hanging by my fireplace has been hanging there for 15 years, and I still like that painting. It's one of the original nudes on a balcony, and literally it's just a woman's hand with her face in it, and her lips are on the balcony, kind of like a bird would perch there. And it was, I just love the painting, and it hangs there. So, you just find something, that gut feeling, and you get it, and you hang it on your wall.
Okay, I will do it.
What advice would you give to new artists who want to make it in the art world?
No, I'm from Liverpool, it's okay.
I wouldn't have the slightest idea. Like I think that movie said where I carried 3 paintings into a gallery. I asked, what's the best gallery in LA area? It said Felix Landau. Just took 3 paintings under my arm and walked in and put them down on the floor and looked at the show. And he said, whose paintings are these? And I thought, whoops, made a mistake. He said, they're mine. He said, come into my office, I want to talk to you. And he asked me who I was, where I was from. And he told me that, he said, I'm going to set you up in a studio, let you paint for a month. If I like what you do, I'll take you on. And I painted the Maryland triptych that went into the Museum of Modern Art. But how can you know what to do now? too many people, too many artists, too many galleries, too many museums. But anyway, everyone just has to figure it out.
The lady first, and then you're the next.
Thank you. You've painted John Wayne and Elizabeth Taylor, Marilyn. Of contemporary actors, is there anyone that you would like to paint?
Are there any contemporary actors, movie actors that you would like to?
I wish that I could find a movie actor now that turned me on like that. I you know, I try to watch the movies, and I can't really watch the movies very well. So I watch documentaries from England, and I watch some of the old movies that I have copies of. You know, I still like to watch Gary Cooper and John Wayne, and, all of the old movie stars. I mean, to watch a Marilyn Monroe movie is really exciting. Now, if I turn on the television and it starts exploding and people cutting themselves in two and stabbing and blowing up, I just.
You can't follow me.
But if someone finds me a movie star that's as exciting, I will certainly paint it.
So the last question for tonight,
The last question.
in the ballroom.
Mr. Gilbert, it's an enormous pleasure, I think, to see you in live here. I mean, I'm a little bit younger than you are, but I know the 60s and the 70s. But I'm so amazed that you're here. So I was asking all the time myself, how come that this beautiful Gillian seduces Mr. Gill to come to Lulé in Portugal?
Through him.
My fault.
Why? Tell me how. Tell us how.
Well, I come to usually Germany twice a year.
Yeah.
And so this last year, Ted said, "Guess what, Jim? You're going to Portugal." I said, "Great, Portugal."
This good.
Yeah, I've always, when I was a little kid, I was very dark. I worked out in the sun all the time. And people would say, "Were you Portuguese?" Because the Portuguese in my area kind of worked on the dairies.
Interesting. So you're back home now?
Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful. Incredibly beautiful.
Nice that you were here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Okay, so Jim Gill will of course be present for all other questions, thank you. But you will then have the possibility to ask them directly to him, so he can answer them directly to you. But now it's a pleasure that we can open the show and see the exhibition. And don't stop to come with your questions. He's willing to answer them, right?
I enjoy talking to people, telling stories, and yet I'm a hermit. When I'm working and isolated, I hate to come out and talk. But I always come alive at these things and talk to people, sign autographs, and hug. I'll hug you if you want to hug.
Okay. I want to hug.